What is your top-line reaction to what just happened in the state of Georgia? We knew that this was moving fast. I'm not sure it was clear until it was actually happening that this was going to rocket from the House all the way through the Senate, all the way to the governor's desk and into law all in one day. What's your reaction?
My reaction to what's happening in Georgia is that Republicans all across the country, including and personified by the state of Georgia, are now weaponizing Trump's lies to make it harder to vote. And because they failed to overturn the last election, they are trying to steal and overturn the next election and putting into place as many measures as they can to do a massive power grab to both make it harder to vote and to consolidate their power over how elections are run and certified. And the fact that they took a 2-page bill, Rachel, turned it into a nearly 100-page bill, and then passed the entire thing in one day, the House, the Senate, the governor, just goes to show you that voter suppression in Georgia and voter suppression nationally is now the central organizing principle of the Republican Party.
I think it's fair to anticipate that the types of restrictions on access to the polling place that were passed in this bill would have changed the electorate in Georgia, would have changed the number of votes cast overall and probably the balance of how the votes were cast in 2020. But even just putting that aside, putting aside the bulk of this bill, which is about making it harder to vote, and making it harder to vote in particular for people who are likely to vote Democratic, what about the structural changes to, as you put it, how elections are run and how elections are certified? If this law had been in place in Georgia in November 2020, when Trump came in and leaned on Georgia Republicans and said, you guys got to help me out here, I need to have one Georgia, can you make that happen? Would they have been able to use Georgia law? Would they have been able to do what Trump demanded if this law had been in place?
Yes, if this law had been in place, Donald Trump absolutely might have succeeded in overturning the election in Georgia, because his biggest Republican critic in Georgia was the Secretary of State, who they have just removed as the head of the State Board of Election, and they have removed him as a voting member. So if the Republican legislature in Georgia had wanted to overturn the will of the voters, they could have done that through control of the State Board of Elections and through leaning on County Board of Elections. And this is why they have made this such a big part of the bill. There are more sections of this voter suppression bill that entrench the Republican Party and the state legislature's power over election administration than any other part of the bill. So a lot of things got the headlines, right, Rachel? Not being able to give people food and water, trying to cut back on early voting. Those kind of things got the headlines. I think the real purpose here was to intensify control over how every aspect of elections are run in Georgia. So when there are close elections in the future, which they know there will be, they will have unprecedented power to challenge the election results and to decline to certify them if they don't like who the winner is.
Wow. And that is why this is a 5-alarm fire, not just in terms of voting rights, but in terms of protecting American democracy. Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.